Hello and welcome to my app design project video. My name is Brian Beal and my app is titled Gutenberg AR. It's named after the inventor of the printing press and combined with augmented reality. It's intended to be a resource and aid for any teacher who wishes to add more easily accessible digital content to physical book reading and who wishes to add accountability tracking to their reading assignments. Its main function, however, is to make it possible to add a hyperlinking dimension to regular old mundane text. Things such as novels, textbooks, even handouts that the teacher created would work with this app. So there are two main user interfaces. One is for a student and one is for the teacher. We're going to take a look at the teacher interface first. The first time, users would always have to create a new project, but if a teacher has been using it for a while, they will be able to open existing projects as well, create or to edit and modify them. So let's take a look at what creating a new project looks like. The first step is to enter the title of the book or object they would like to use. For our demonstration, we're using Crack Hours Into the Wild. We type that in our enter button, and it's asking if this is your book after having done a browser search to see if it had any matches. In our case, we're going to say that no, it didn't. This is not the Into the Wild we were looking for. So we do have the option to customize our text, and the phone automatically prompts the user to create a title using the words that they entered into the wild. So we'll go ahead and say yes, that's and then it prompts the user to create a greeting for when students scan the book cover, and we'll go ahead and do that. And in our greeting, bottom is important for the students because there are quizzes that they will be taking to not only test for comprehension but also to motivate them to actually do the reading. And if they scan a page that has a quiz before they've read the text, they will not be able to answer to the best of their abilities. I would make it so that the quizzes are to be completed in a certain amount of time and only able to be taken once. So that's our announcement. After we've done that, we're prompted to enter in at least 10 consecutive words from any page of the book. And that's what the program will use to identify whether it should be hyperlinking to, or performing its hyperlinking function, recognizing the words as a pattern. So in our book, we are using from the sentence, detrital wash extends for some 50 miles from Lake Mead into. That's actually 11 words, so we're good on that. We put in our page number so that it ties into that, and hit next. Now notice at the top it's locked in our words that we use, displaying them here. And we have the ability then to link it to Blackboard if the browser finds it, or if the phone camera finds it, to make a quiz, and it links to a quiz. Link to a video, writing assignment, but we are going to link to that. We have the option of typing in the URL or doing a Google search for our. We know exactly what we want, so we enter in that there, and we're going to see what that looks like from the student perspective a little bit later. But for now, we're finished with that. It takes us back to our event screen. Obviously, we're done. So back at our home screen, we can then go to our existing projects. These are just some examples of what a teacher might have entered in. We have our Into the Wild here as a project that has been created, and this is a scrollable screen. Who knows what text underneath? So with our Into the Wild project, this is now a ways into, maybe a week or two into, and we have some elements that we've created. And so we can see the quizzes that the students have taken and their grades, announcements if we want to make any, also ones that we've created are there, journals, which every once in a while we'll link a page to a journal entry so students can write in the moment about what they're thinking and what they're feeling. And then we can also check reading progress. So every time a student scans a page, that event is logged and sent to the teacher, and lets the on the teacher's app know where the students are at. So it's not perfect, but it will at least tell us that these students have read all the way to page or have scanned page 25, and some of them have scanned up to page 36. Um, Again, not perfect, but it does give a better idea. If a student comes in and says that they did do the reading, the teacher can check and see, like, why didn't you scan that with your phone then if you actually did it. And it could also be interesting to see what times students have done their reading, if they're waiting till the last minute or if they're getting it done ahead of time. And maybe that allows the teacher to give some additional guidance to students who are waiting for the last minute, to sort of prompt them to develop good study habits and get their homework done in a timely fashion. And then we have highlighted here a person that did no reading yet. So that's what the teacher view looks like. Now let's see what it looks like from the student perspective. The student opens up the app. They will have been entered in already and given an access code, so it ties it into their name, John Student in this case, a nice little welcome message and a prompt to scan the current text. And again, if students have been in the class for a while, they could also tap the button here at the bottom for a list of texts that are associated with this app. I went ahead and created a little video to show what it might look like when a student was looking for the text in their book. You have to make sure that it focuses enough so that the reader can recognize the pattern of the words. So a student has now scanned the cover of the book. It comes up in their screen and prompts them to read an announcement. The announcement in this case is a reminder that they have a reading assignment due on March 30th to read up to page 25. And the pages that they need to scan are also here. This would also be posted to Blackboard and announced in class, but it's just a nice little feature that allows them to see what they need to be doing, what they need to be reading and scanning. Going to the list of texts, again, we have our previous texts here. And if they are in this section, they can click on, tap their title into the wild. Determine and which pages they need to scan announcements, or they can then go to the scanner and scan the pages that they were assigned. And if you remember, those 10 or 11 words that we typed in before, they can now be found on this page. The uh, scanner will look for that pattern of words, find it on the page, and at this point, I really have to thank Kelly Christian, who notified me about a Amazon Firefly phone, which does something very similar for print advertisements and such, and it was very helpful in leading my direction for this app. So the app finds these words, highlights and selects them, and then uh, links them to the web address that we typed in before. Was right here. This would be um, this is a website that shows some pictures and descriptions of the wash that is described in the book. So it's making the content more visceral and accessible to students. So this gives you some idea of the functionality and purpose of this app. There are areas that could flow more seamlessly, and while I've designed it to be intuitive, I think that it could be even more intuitive in some places. Um, but before I let you go, I would like to talk about why I think an app like this would be important and useful. As a future English language teacher, English language arts teacher, I'm very interested in ways that teachers and students can work with and interact with the text they encounter. I think that English is the best subject, and of course there's no bias there, but at its heart, it's about reading and understanding stories. That is what a person's life is, a series of stories in an overarching tale. How we construct and understand the stories we tell about ourselves not only reveals, but it also influences who we are, the choices that we make, and the way we feel about the world we live in. Developing the skills to analyze and judge stories in literature are not only state standards, but I believe that that skillfulness translates into being able to do similar things with a person's own story. Unfortunately, there are limitations when one reads a text and then comes to discuss it in class at a later time. And so Gutenberg AR is meant to reduce those limitations. One of the ways it does that is making students accountable so that they come to class having read the text that they were assigned. But also, it's convenient, and it makes that option for them to, required option actually, to jot down their thoughts in the moment, in reflections, in journals. It's important to remember that technology is a tool in learning and not a substitute for instructions, and that is especially true with this app. Its success in the classroom depends entirely on the sound selection of related and created content by the instructor. But when used effectively, it will amplify the effects of good teaching. I want to thank you for making it this far. I appreciate having had this class with you all, and I wish you good luck in all of your future endeavors.